guys, thanks so much for tuning in to this video. I am Jay Theo, and first off I want to say I hope you're having a good week. I hope you're having a good vibe. Hope everything is going well, all the things for you today, this week, all the above. I'm happy to be here with another video for you guys, and today I want to discuss the 10 reasons why I don't prioritize finding a partner anymore. Now, first off, I want to preface this video by saying I love love. I love romance. I love all of the cheesy, lovey things. I love romantic movies. I like romantic comedies. I even like romantic animes. Ultimately, I am a fan of love. So I just want to preface it before I get too deep into this video. I also want to preface that I'm someone that definitely understands that a long-term relationship, a serious relationship can benefit anyone. It could be beneficial, it could provide happiness. So I definitely don't want this video to come off that I don't think people should be in long-term relationships, and I don't think people should be in serious relationships, or that they should even pursue partners. Everybody's journey is different. There's literally 8 billion people on this planet, and we all can seek happiness and seek peace and all those things on our own accord. So I just want to preface the video by saying that you know, I love love and all those things, you know, but at the end of the day, I do want to talk to the different reasons why I don't no longer prioritize finding a partner. And the reason why I wanted to make this video is through my 32 years, almost 33 years of life now, I definitely have learned a lot of lessons from dating and interacting with people from a romantic lens and even a platonic lens, and it has driven me to where I am today. I definitely also believe in self-love. I am one of those people that at the end of the most important love is the love you have with yourself, is the respect you have for yourself. So I'm always gonna put that at the forefront. I'm always gonna put that number one. And I do want to speak about that ideology a little bit in this video, but those are the reasons why I want to share what I've learned through my dating experiences and my life experiences very briefly in this video, but also talk through why it is important to love yourself and focus on yourself, but in no means take away from anybody's desire to want to be in a long-term serious relationship. And at the end of the day, I still do ultimately desire to be in a relationship, to have love and to have all those things. But as far as prioritizing it anymore, nah, not so much. So y'all, with all that being said, let's go ahead and dive in this video. I'm going to talk to the 10 reasons I no longer prioritizing finding a partner and seeking a long-term relationship. Okay, so the number one reason on my list, first up on my list, has to be obligations. Like any relationship, like anything, any commitment in life, it brings on obligations. And y'all, one thing that I realized and learned being an adult, as being an adult, you have lots and lots and lots of responsibilities and obligations, especially in the modern world we live in, with our phones, with work, with our friendships, with just trying to live a very robust life. You're gonna have a lot of obligations. And right now at this phase in my life, I'm just not in a place where I want to add many other obligations to what I have going on. As you guys know, I'm pursuing YouTube, I'm pursuing social media, I'm pursuing this career avenue. I have a full-time job. I work full-time, and my job is not a job that I just sit at my desk and it's a very active, customer-facing, person-facing career. So I have that. And also, I am also pursuing other things. I'm getting back into improv comedy, trying to see what that means for me. I'm trying to dabble back into things prior to the pandemic that I was doing. And also, I do have an active social life. I like to go out, I like to travel, I like to see the world, all those things. So I have already so many obligations. When you're planning a trip, you have to plan the trip, you have to plan your savings, you have to plan everything, you have to coordinate that, you have to book the flights, you have to, when you're planning events for your friends, when somebody's birthday is coming up, when you have to go visit your family, all those things are obligations on top of the day-to-day just making sure as a human being you're keeping yourself alive, making sure you're going to the grocery store, making sure you're cooking, making sure you're working out, all of those things. And I'm just in a very phase of my life where I am very selfish and I really want to focus on me and be about me. And the relationship obligations are you have to be there for your partner when they're going through something, or even it's an up or down. You have to be there. You have to support. You have to listen. You have to talk. You have to communicate all the time. You have to be there. You have to be present in the relationship. When they may need help, you know, with something or support in anything, even if it's actual physical labor support. I mean, sometimes your partner may call you over to help put together a cabinet or help put together a shelf or something like that. Or they may need you to help them drive them somewhere because they're going on a trip, or they may need you to help drive to the airport, or they may need your advice or working through something with a family member because you are in a relationship. And also just the obligations of dating, going on dates, being attentive to your partner, being there fully, the sexual obligation, all the things, the social obligations of their friends and their family and all those things. I think all of that is just a layer of obligations I'm not in the mood to deal with right now. And ultimately, I think when you do find that person and you love that person and you're excited to be with that person, you make time and you ebb and flow for those obligations. But as I said, I have a lot of like current focuses, current things that I want to prioritize on my own life. And just adding that layer of a relationship right now, it just honestly seems, it actually just seems like it would be very wrong on my part to want to dive into a relationship knowing I have all these other focuses and priorities that I'm working on. And I just know that I cannot adhere to the obligations that one would need to when you are in a relationship. Okay, second reason I'm not prioritizing a relationship is that when I have pursued dating fully, when I have prioritized it, one thing I noticed in men a lot of times is this level of possessiveness, this level of ownership, this level of you're mine. And I understand that in relationships that yes, we are committed to each other, we are building something together, we vibe together, but there's just a level of possessiveness in a lot of people that I just don't understand, and that it's just not my vibe. And I think everybody can be different. If people are more possessive, or they want to feel like they kind of own someone, or they feel like that's the level of commitment they want, that is perfectly fine for them. Like I said, I'm not shading anybody else, but for me, I don't really see a relationship as something that is considered ownership. I do think it really is a partnership, and we assist and we coach and we align with each other. But as far as like the possessiveness and like you're my man and the jealousy that happens and just the way that people overdo it with the ownership aspect of it all, I think that's just something I just don't feel like dealing with. People do get jealous, people do get mad when you're out and about, and I just feel like at this point in my life I just don't want to deal with that. And I just feel like whoever my partner is, I want them to be somebody who's very secure in themselves so that, yes, we are committed to each other and all those things, but I also am not looking for somebody to want to possess me and own me and make me feel like I am their property and make me feel like, even just with sex, like, I have obligated to have sex with you this amount of days or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't like the possessiveness that comes sometimes with dating, especially men. And with possessiveness comes abuse, and with possessiveness comes control, and I'm just not a fan of anybody trying to control me. I've never been a fan of that. Even with my dad growing up, I never liked the idea of someone controlling you, and that's just something that I feel like comes with a lot of relationships. And a lot of people are possessive and they don't even know they are. So next up, the third reason why I don't prioritize dating is honestly the odds really aren't in my favor. And what I mean by that is, and I'm not trying to be pessimist or cynical or anything like that, but when I was in therapy, my therapist, when I would tell her what I'm looking for in a partner and things like that, she would tell me that, Jay, you have a very unique thought process when it comes to relationships and what you're looking for. And it's not that it's bad, it's just unique. And I understand that I have a very non-traditional outlook on relationships and partnership that a lot of people don't agree with. So ultimately, I'm just a very non-traditional person. I'm not really someone who's looking to like own a home. I'm not really someone that's looking to really be stuck in any specific space. I think as a human for myself, we were born in America, we were born in the state we lived in, but I've always been somebody to bounce around. Like I said, grew up in Michigan, and I went to Ohio State for college, then I went to New York for work, then I moved to LA for work. And even though I am liking LA and I'm enjoying LA, I don't really think this is my end all be all. I definitely want to explore other parts of the world. I'm a huge traveler and I'm trying to become a bigger traveler. And I'm just someone where I don't know where life takes you. And I just think that there's so many beautiful places around the world. There's so much to see that I know for a lot of people that's not something that they would want to deal with. Also, as you may have seen in some of my other videos, I don't want kids. I think kids are beautiful. I think they're amazing, all the things. But as I said earlier, when it comes to obligations, I don't want to add any more obligations that are extreme and literally legal obligations to my belt. And having a kid is a legal obligation, and you really have to be there for your kid. And I'm someone where if I had a child, I really want to be there. So I know I would really be pouring into this child, and there would be a lot of obligations because I would want to really commit to raising and being a part of this child's life. So a lot of gay dudes, surprisingly, want kids. I'm not a religious person, so I recently made a video about that. I'm not a religious person, not gonna be a religious person. So that is a hang up for a lot of people too. I'm just not someone who adheres to that at all. Another reason I am open to non-monogamy. I've read books about it. I've kind of have an understanding of where I fall in the non-monogamy space. I've made videos about that. But I definitely think that for some people, non-monogamy, and there's different levels to it, but I definitely am someone who's open to that, and a lot of people aren't. And then lastly, I am someone who I've done a lot of research about living apart together. So if I ever am in a romantic relationship, I ideally would like to live apart together. I would like us to have separate homes. We can come together, or at least have separate rooms that we sleep separately. You know, I'm not someone who needs a partner to sleep in my bed every night. I'm not somebody who somebody needs to be cuddling me every night, holding me. I'm someone who can eat alone. I like to cook my own meals, things like that. So I also feel like in that vein of kind of like, we're in a relationship but we still live apart together, we still have separate lives, we're a little bit more independent. A lot of people, when they're in a relationship, they want to be glued to the hip, they want to be around each other 24/7, they really want that vibe. And for me, just the type of person I am, and just like the spark that I want to keep in a relationship, the excitement I want to keep in a relationship, and I want to avoid this term called the sibling effect, where you're around someone so much, you get so comfortable with someone, they become so comfortable, you start viewing them as a sibling. That actually happens in a lot of romantic relationships, especially people that are married. I kind of want to avoid that. But for a lot of people, they really want to, you know, live together and move in together and all those things. So all that to say is that's why I feel like the odds aren't in my favor personally, because I just want a very unique type of person. And I think, unfortunately, society has put this impression on a lot of people that relationships can only be one way or only two ways. And I feel like a relationship can go any kind of way as long as you communicate and you set up those expectations, you talk it through. So I kind of want a partner that's more on that accord. And I just don't think a lot of people are like that. And especially at the end of the day, even though I do speak on interrelational relationships, and I think love is love, and I think everybody can date and be who they want to be with. And I'm not saying I don't know who my partner is at the end of the day, but ideally, I do want to be with a black partner. Ideally, I do want to be with a black man. That's ideally what I would want. You know, in a non-monogamy sense, I would want us to be involved with black men. So I just think if it went that route as well. So I just think that as well is, you know, I do want a black partner. And even in those odds, a black gay man who's emotionally intelligent, who is unlearning the issues of internalized homophobia, who's confident, and who is open to healing and working through their problems, things like that. Unfortunately, there's not a lot, you know, that I've met dating-wise, and this is my experience, that I feel like are out there in that vein. And this is no shade to my black gay community. I make these videos because I love my black gay community. But at the end of the day, the odds aren't so much in my favor for what I'm looking for. And that's just the reality of it. Okay, so next up is, I love my freedom, y'all. I've been pretty much single my whole life. If you guys saw one of my other videos, I had a small relationship, it was like 3-month relationship over this past summer, but I really don't, even though that's my friend now, I love him, we are really cool, I don't really count that as like a real relationship because we didn't see eye to eye. So I've been single pretty much my whole life, and I feel like I love my freedom. And at the end of the day, as a black person, our freedom was all our ancestors ever wanted, was freedom. And I just feel like relationships, because like I spoke about earlier, the obligations, the possessiveness, things like that, relationships do take away your freedom. You have to check in with someone. You have to coordinate with someone. You have to constantly be in communication with someone. And just days were like yesterday, I was chilling. I got some stuff. I was productive. I got things that I need to get done. And then I was like, you know what? I want to like do like a 4-hour marathon of playing video games. I want to get farther in Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 16. The sequels are coming out. Final Fantasy 7. I want to get farther in the game. So I just played video games from like maybe like 8 to like 2 in the morning. It ended up being like that long. But I just binged playing video games and it was so much fun. I had a vibe. I woke up the next day, did yoga, made breakfast. You know what I'm saying? But we woke up this morning. But I just feel like even in that sense, it's like if you have a partner, they may be like, why are you playing video games all day? Or like, why do you think it's okay? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want anybody questioning what I decide to do. If I feel like I was productive today, if I feel like this is my reward, if I just feel like I want to have a lazy day, I have the right to do that. And I just like, those are levels of freedom. I don't want to have to check in with somebody when I'm out and be like, hey, I'm going to be out late. And I think that is respectful. Those are the things you should do. But I personally just really love my freedom. Also, like I said, I'm really trying to get in my travel bag. I'm really excited this year. I was just in Mexico for New Year's. I'm going to Tokyo for my birthday in a couple months, and then I'm going to Barcelona in August for this big Circuit Week festival. And I just even just like the freedom of that, being able to get up, travel. And you know, when you travel, you meet people, you meet guys, you have fun, things like that. So I am just in a place where I just really enjoy my freedom. And I just like it coming home and just like, it's my space. And how I left it is how I left it. And I really just like that level of freedom. So that's another big reason for me is that I just love my freedom. Next up, I am not really good with big compromise. I'm not really good with compromise in general. I'm a Taurus, so compromise for me is a lot, and I just feel like as someone who's been single for so long and someone who strives in his independence and interdependence, I have a community, I have friends, I love my friends, I love people that support my family, but I'm just not somebody that likes to compromise. Like, even just eating, if I want to eat something specific, I'm just gonna eat that. Yes, if I'm out with friends and we're trying to find something to eat, yes, we can compromise to a T, but every single day with someone, having to compromise on what I'm eating, having to compromise on what we're watching, having to compromise on where we're going on our date, having to compromise on, that just seems like such a hefty compromise all the time. And then, especially when somebody wants to move to another city, or somebody wants to, I don't know, change the apartment we're in, things like that. I just don't always want to constantly be compromising. And I just feel like when you're in a romantic relationship, that's what you have to do. And right now, at this place in my life, I don't really want to do that. And I think I'm even trying to find ways to eliminate so much compromise. That's why if I ever were to be in a relationship, like I said earlier, I want to live apart together. I want to find ways to where we're more independent, we come together, but to where we're not always compromising so much on so many mundane things. And I've read articles that say the mundane things, the mundane compromises are what leads to fights and arguments. They said one of the biggest reasons couples fight is like the temperature in their home, how hot it is. That leads to bigger arguments for a lot of people, and like what people want to eat. So it's just like when you don't have to compromise all the time, I think that just has another sense of peace and level to your life when you're not always compromising, because compromising unfortunately leads to conflict, leads to arguments, it leads to debates, it leads to all that. Okay, next up is the one thing I realized too when I date, y'all, is most people don't like to take things slow. Most people don't like to take things slow, and I'm someone, I actually really like to take things slow. One thing I've learned over the years is that even with friends, it takes a long time to really get to know and understand someone. And I understand that you don't want to wait 2 years to be in a relationship, but the fact that people meet somebody and like 2 months later, 3 months later in a relationship and they're moved in with them and they're like so in love, I don't understand that. Like, anytime I've met a guy, it takes me at least, honestly, like 6 months before I really feel like I'm getting to know them. And I do realize I've spoken how I was love bombed before, but even when I was going through that love bombing experience, it still felt like this isn't real, this feels rushed, this doesn't feel right. So I actually feel like you do need to see a person through seasons. You need to see a person through some ups and downs. You need to see a person once the facade falls. And I think a lot of people, especially when they're pursuing you, when they're interested in you, when they're smitten with you, their facade's gonna last longer. And I want to see the real. And I think for most people, that takes 6 months plus, year even, to really get to know someone. And I'm not saying that you have to wait to a year to define your relationship, but I just feel like just with someone understanding like we like each other, we get to know each other, the feelings are there. You may even get to a point where you're calling each other boyfriends and you're in a relationship, but it's still like in a phase of getting to know you. It's in a kind of a probationary period. And I think people want to rush to love. They want to rush to commitment. They want to rush to be in a relationship all the time. And for me, I don't want to do that. And I've seen when I've tried to rush it, I've seen the consequences in that. So I'm not someone that's going to rush. So that's another reason. That's another reason why I'm just not prioritizing dating right now. I don't want to rush into something. I actually want to take things slow, go with the flow, understand, enjoy the ride, and not just try to rush to the commitment part, rush to the love part. I don't see the value in that when you really don't know someone at that point. And also, y'all, next up, the next reason, feelings are annoying. Like, at the end of the day, when you have feelings for someone, when you really are sincere about those feelings and you really are in your head and your heart and all these things, it can be stressful when someone makes you mad and you have feelings for them, or when you get in an argument and you have feelings for them, or you do feel jealousy, or you do feel like you're pouring more into something and somebody else isn't. That's going to cause stress. It's going to cause you to kind of lose focus. Anytime that I was dating a guy and things start getting weird, or my feelings start getting too involved and they start making me mad, it started affecting my other things. It started affecting me, my eating. It started affecting me taking care of myself. It started affecting my work. So I just feel like at the end of the day, we can't stop feelings from feelings. And I think at the end of the day, I understand how my feelings can elevate when I'm dating someone, and when I'm not dating someone, I just don't have to deal with that. I just don't have to deal with that. I don't have to worry about my feelings. I don't have to worry about, me getting stressed out about the way I feel and getting my feelings hurt and all those things. I don't want to be typical cliche, like I'm protecting myself. I don't want to be hurt, but I actually do. That's how I feel. I want to protect myself. I don't feel like being hurt. I just don't feel like dealing with the feelings. It's not even like I don't hurt. Yes, I don't want to be hurt. Nobody wants to be hurt, but I just don't even want to open the door to be hurt because I just don't feel like dealing with all that. And that's just really where I'm at right now, is I just don't, because they are annoying. Feelings can be good as well, but when they go bad, feelings can be annoying, is what I'm saying. And honestly, when I do commit to something, I'm the type of person, when I commit, I actually commit. Like, if I really am, for like, we're doing this, we're dating, we're really gonna, be in a relationship, I'm going to really pour into it. And I really expect my partner to. And y'all, anytime that I've been dating someone, they never pour into it the same way or in the same level that I do. And I really am a believer, and I read books on this, that when you're in a relationship, you have to set expectations. You have to talk about what you want. How often do you want to go on dates during the week? How often do you want to go on dates during the month? How often do you want to have sex? What is your idea of intimacy? All those type of questions I want to have with my partner. And a lot of men, unfortunately, they don't like having those conversations. I've been told many times I'll overthink. I'm always thinking about too many things. I always want to talk about stuff. I always want to bring things to light. Yeah, we're in a relationship. We need to communicate. And I'm not somebody... And I'm going to express myself. If I feel like something's off, I'm going to express it, and I want you to do the same. I'm not really into the silent treatment, and I got to assume what's going on. We're in a relationship. We need to communicate, and that's what I want to do. And I just feel like time and time again, and through my experience, I feel like the way I've poured into the commitment of getting to know someone and building and growing and trying to really, lock this relationship in or lock this connection in, they have not done that, or it's always been lackluster, and I always feel like that I'm pouring more into it. And if anything for me, and this is kind of just brings us full circle, anything to me that feels like more labor, feels like I'm doing work, I'm not gonna want to do it. I don't want to work. No, at the end of it, who wants to work anyway? Like, I don't want to have to do additional work. I already have a full-time job. I have side things I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to work and then just do so much labor in this relationship, especially when you're not gonna pour into it the same way, and you don't want to talk about expectations. You don't want to communicate. Why would I be pouring into this? Why would I care? So that's another reason why when I do it, I do it. And if somebody's not in it fully in the same way that I am, I'm not going to prioritize. And I have yet to meet someone who matches that energy and who even wants to communicate and discuss in the ways that I think make sense for a relationship. So y'all, moving on, my 8th reason, which kind of connects to this, is I really like protecting my peace. And I feel like at the end of the day, relationships bring arguments. Relationships do bring jealousy. Relationships are going to bring some type level of conflict. And a lot of people don't know how to manage conflict. They're going to bring silent treatments. They're going to bring, all those things. And I'm just at a place right now where I just don't feel like dealing with that. I don't feel like someone not explaining to me how they feel and I have to figure that out. Or somebody giving me the silent treatment and I don't know what's wrong. Or someone arguing with me over something. And even if they're valid in the argument, I just honestly just don't feel like arguing with people right now. I don't feel like dealing with the nuances of the negatives of being in a relationship. I don't feel like confronting somebody's jealousy. I just don't want to do that right now. And like I said, I am someone who's open to non-monogamy, but I feel like a lot of gay men do not understand what communication is needed to even be in a non-monogamous relationship. And I just don't want to deal with that drama. But I respect people that do. I'm not saying that it's bad to want to indulge in that and deal with that, but I'm really at a place where whatever brings me peace. And being single and having friends and family that I vibe with and hang out with and build a community that way just brings me a lot of peace, to be honest. It just does. It does. Even just like critiques, like when people date you, they always like to critique what you do and critique the way you move and play devil's advocate. And that's all great and stuff, but I just feel like I just can do without that. I'm very in tune with who I am, and I think anybody can always challenge you and bring a different perspective and all that. That's great, but I don't really need to be reworked as a person. I feel like whoever my person is, if I'm in a relationship, they're not going to be wanting to rework me and critique me. Yes, we can challenge and evolve and we can grow and we can give advice and things like that, but I feel like I want somebody to be pretty cool with who I am, and that's why they want to be in a relationship with me, is because they vibe with who I am and I vibe with who they are, So ultimately, protecting my peace is very important to me. So next up, and honestly, dating is expensive. Dating is expensive. Being a boy and dating is expensive. Yes, we're gay, but even if you go half and half on dating, it's still expensive. Like, going out, dating, all the things is expensive. Buying gifts, catering to somebody every week, going on dates, it's expensive. And I am just really in a very selfish place right now. I want to buy stuff for myself. I want to plan trips for myself. I'm very in a no strings attached mode right now. All these trips I'm going on, I'm trying to be able to flirt and vibe and freak the way I want to without having to worry about somebody else. And I just feel like financially, it's just easier when you just, at least for me, I've never been with someone who takes care of things and pays for things. So anytime I was in a dating situation, it was always half. for the most part. So I've never financially benefited in a big way from dating anybody. And the way that I want to date, I still want to be pretty independent anyway. So I just think it also is just expensive. Dating is expensive. And I just enjoy not doing that. But dating is also really expensive if you're not in a relationship. Maybe if you're in a relationship, it's not. But when you are actually dating, trying to pursue people, you're going on the first date here, you're going on the second date here, you're going on the third date here, you're going on the first date again. All those things, that adds up. You know, dinners and movies and all that adds up. And I just feel like when you can avoid that whole expense, why not? I can just go to dinner and movies and things with my friends, but it's not, the commitment's not the same because I'm not dating them. So it's not this heavy commitment thing, you know? And lastly, number 10, biggest reason is, like I said earlier, it's just communication. Communication is something that a lot of people are not good at. And this is no shade to anyone, but a lot of people are not good at communicating. A lot of men are not good at laying out expectations. A lot of men are still not emotionally intelligent. They don't seek to understand. They don't actively listen. And I just don't feel like teaching that to someone. I definitely feel like, like I said, you can grow and evolve with someone and you guys can vibe together and figure that out. But I'm not really in a mood to be teaching somebody how to actively listen, teaching somebody how to communicate, always having to reevaluate how we communicate. I'm just not in a mood. And with the right person, maybe I'll be in a place to do that. But right now, I'm just, like I said, that's just extra labor I'm just not willing to do. And I am someone, I'm in a relationship, when I say I'm committed, and I'm like focused, I'm gonna really want to communicate. I'm want to talk through expectations, and I just feel like in a way that's still not laborious. But I also just don't want to always have to do the legwork of explaining to someone why we should communicate, why we should set expectations, why this is important. I just don't feel like doing that. And I've never liked being a nag to anyone. I just feel like anytime I feel like I'm nagging someone or I'm convincing them to do something, that's not who they are. And I just don't think that's fair to them. It's not fair to me. And I just don't want to do that. So y'all, so those are the 10 reasons why I'm not prioritizing dating and looking for a partner and a relationship, boyfriend, all of the things. Please let me know in the comments what your thoughts are, if you guys relate to any of those reasonings as to why you're not prioritizing dating, or if why maybe you took a break from dating or looking for a partner, or all the things. Or if, you know, if you are in a relationship and you do have a partner and you feel like it's a good balance of some of these things, or you feel like they are able to prioritize you in a way that makes these things not so intense, let me know. I'm curious to know what your thoughts are, how your relationship's working, you know, if you are in one. And also, but ultimately I want to say is that, y'all, once again, there's so many people on this planet. We can live our lives the way, all different types of ways. We don't have to prioritize a relationship we don't want to. We don't have to prioritize being single if we don't want to. We can do whatever we want. I just feel like when you start looking at life as more of this freeing thing, this place that you can just do whatever you want, all these like expectations that society puts on you, it just starts to diminish, and you really just start not giving a fuck, to be honest. And ultimately, for me, I just want peace. If a man brings me peace one day and he is loving and caring and a joy to be around, and I don't feel like I have to do all this labor, then yes, I'll be in a relationship. But if I find peace and joy by just doing my own thing, hanging out with my friends, I don't see what's wrong with that either. So guys, if you've enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe if you're enjoying this content. There will be more content to come. But ultimately, y'all, as always, do your best to stay safe, stay positive, and I will see you guys on the next video.